Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mig from MaxxBeats.com, MaxxBeats.com. I'm here in our studio today, AudioMaxStudios.com, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I was contacted by someone who wanted a beat remake. They couldn't find a beat to kind of give them the same feel as Kendrick Lamar's Blow My High. So, of course, I said, let me take a shot at it. And I did, as I always try to do whatever I can for people. And love the beat, bought the beat. And here is the behind the scenes session. It's a Logic Pro X session. And I'll kind of walk you through what I did. First of all, I started off the tempo at 63 beats per minute, which is very similar to where that track is. And I used basically all Logic Pro X stock samples, stock drum kits, except for this one kit where I don't know where I got it from, but it's called the Alchemist kit. It's from, I've probably had it for 10 years in my EXS24 sampler library within Logic. So anyway, I'm going to play it first, and then I'm going to kind of show you track by track what I did to make this type of track. Okay? Check it out. All right, so that takes you to verse number 2. So I played you everything from the intro into what I call the hook area, and then I stopped it at where the second verse was coming in. So I, of course, pattern it the way I hear it as a new beat for somebody. They're going to have the stems, the track outs, and they're going to be able to kind of configure the placement of things. So I don't know exactly how their rap is going to go. So I don't know where they need the hook to be. I don't know how many bars they're doing in the verses. So once I do a custom, I give them all the files. If they want the Logic X files, I give them those. But for the most part, it's just wave files, or stems, track outs, as you know. So what I did here was, first of all, there's a mixture of samples in here and parts that I actually played. I play about 5 different instruments, keys, drums, guitar, bass, and vocals. I guess vocals as an instrument. So 4 instruments and vocals. Anyway, so what I did is I started off with drums, and I went through my library, and I went through Logic's library, and I found the combination of things that worked really well. So we have this Roots kit in Logic Pro's Drum Designer. So here's what I did with the Roots kit. I grabbed this kind of acoustic sounding drum, kick drum. That's it. There's the kick drum pattern number 1. Then I went over to this Alchemist sample kit that I have. I just wanted some grittier sounding kicks. Sometimes the stock sounds in a DAW, in a digital workstation, are clean. They're very clean. I want to mix some clean stuff with some dirty stuff. So here's my next sound. So I layered those 2 kicks together. Fat, nice fat sound. Then I added in a rim shot. Then we added in a fill kick, which is also a third kick as well. So once the intro builds up, I do this kind of boom, 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 and then that new kick is also layered with the other 2 kicks. All right, cool. So on top of that, I'll take it way back to the beginning. I have this clap. It's like a dirty sampled clap. It doesn't sound great by itself, but it works low in the track. Let me go to the main pattern here. Then I added another rim shot on top of that. There are different textures and tones. You have a high rim shot, you have a mid rim shot, you have the clap that fills out some of that middle and upper bottom area. All right, so we have that. Then I have this this one extra snare that comes in on the, let me see, what would it be, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 4 bars on bar number 5 of the pattern. I just kind of switch it up for a second. Right there. That's it. All right, so now that we have that, those are the drums. What else do we have? You know what? We actually have hi-hats. Well, I should kind of get to the hi-hats because they're very important. So I took a very metallic-y hi-hat and I used it as a reinforcement for the rim shot, the snare, so it plays with them. Now here's our main hi-hat. It's a closed and then an open. All right, so the drums in Blow My High are really, really simple. There's nothing much going on. It's a very, very simple track, and it has some organic feel to it. Organic meaning realistic, not just sample-based. There's some Rhodes pianos and it sounds like there's a sample that's kind of going through the whole thing. So I did a Wurlitzer, and I grabbed Logic's Wurlitzer Classic, which is a patch that's under your electric pianos. And this is what I played. I played this part, okay? So I'm gonna just open it up. You can listen and you can see. Bass note, high notes. Bass note, chords. There you go. So when you put that together with the main drum pattern, you get this. All right, so the next layer, the next thing that I added was 2 loops. The one loop is very simple, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a little bit of grit and non-perfection behind the snares. So I added like this little reverby clap. It's called Mind's Eye Beat 01. It's a Logic Pro X loop. It's in the, I think, the hip-hop part of the library. It's really cool because it has like a flanger on it. Actually, I inserted the flanger on it, a little bit of reverb. So everything, including the snaps and the breath behind the snaps, because they have some kind of like natural reverb in the sample itself, are getting flanged. So you have this like boom, boom, boom. It just gives it a little bit more movement than just a straight beat. All right, so moving on, I have this other loop. It's called Ghostly Beat. I like it because it brings some tiny little subliminal elements in and out of the track. Rather than just having a kick and snare and hi-hat, you have all these little things going on as well. Cool little pattern, but when you add it all together, you get this. Little vocal sample I added right here. Another one right here. All right, so let's talk about that. So I found this vocal sample in here, and it's called Bailey Background. And it was I guess it was a full 1 or 2 bar pattern. I took just 2 pieces from it that I liked, and I'll solo them together on 2 separate tracks. That way you can hear the actual pattern that it plays. They're hitting at the same time as the keyboards, the Rhodes. And I put a delay on that other chop here. The right here's the delay. Use your delays, use your reverbs, get creative. It creates depth in a track. It's more than just a drum beat and a keyboard line. Use your effects. I used just the platinum verb and the stereo delay to create that little put it on a quarter note, and you create depth. It's awesome. So other than that, the one thing I didn't touch on was when I created the Wurlitzer sequence, the Wurlitzer pattern, I took the bottom note that I played on the keys and I used that bottom note as the bass note on the next track. And I used subby bass. If you go into bass, there is a patch called subby bass. It's a standard Logic patch. It's been in there for like 15 years, but it works. It has a little bit of a realistic feel, but it's also really deep. And you can't really hear it through the computer audio, but it fattens up that keyboard line. So just take the bottom note, the bass note from your keys, and duplicate the entire key pattern, this one, onto this track, open up this track, and remove all the notes but the bass notes. Okay? It's a little trick there. Let me show you real quick. So you would take this Rhodes pattern, that track, and you would duplicate it. You'd pull one of those patterns down, you'd go into here, and you would select everything that's not a bass note, and you delete it. And now you would go and you would change the sound on this track to a bass sound. That's it. All right, so that's what I already did here. All right, so beyond that, there's a couple little like build-ups and fills, and that's it. There's this thing called the false alarm beat that is a kind of like in the intro, I wanted something that would build up into the verse. And then I also added one more top line synth, filtered dream synth, which the client can use it or not use it. I just thought it was a nice extra touch that can, you know, be decided on later. As I said, all the stems are given to the client when it's done. So anyway, here's what the entire intro into the track sounds like. Big ones that don't absolutely too much. And there you have it. The pattern repeats 2 more times. When the client sits down to record the song, they can decide with the engineer, or if they're working with me personally, we can decide on what we're going to keep and what we're going to get rid of. You really don't know until you actually get some vocals on the track what elements you're going to end up sticking with. But they love the track. They purchased it exclusively. And this is what we do, MaxxBeats.com. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I have a ton more videos coming. Plus, we have a lot of videos on here about mixing and mastering. We have beat videos. And that's it. Check the information in the description below. And I hope this helps you guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.